Yes. Yes. Good morning, girls. Yeah, today we are going to do a session on numerical integration, girls. Already we did enough revision on this, and we are again doing once again a revision on numerical integration. So this is unit 3, girls. So first of all, you will see what is numerical integration, and then what is general formula of quadrature, and afterwards you will see the rules, different rules to find out the definite integral value. Okay, how to evaluate using numerical methods you are going to see. Okay, what is numerical integration? You have seen various analytical methods, girls, when you are in intermediate and also while doing your first semester differential equation course. Okay, so what we do is we evaluate definite integrals by using some numerical methods. Okay, so in numerical integration, we will not follow the analytical methods, we will be following the numerical methods. So what we do here is to evaluate the definite integral a to b fx dx, we will be using a set of numerical values. We will be given a data. Actually, we don't know exclusively what is fx. Okay, so we will be given a data related to fx and we'll be evaluating the integral. Okay, so even when we don't know fx explicitly, we'll be evaluating the definite integral value. So that process is known as numerical integration. So the process of evaluating the value of the definite integral from a set of numerical values of the function fx is known as numerical integration. So what we do here is we just first develop a general formula of quadrature. General formula of quadrature, before going to the general formula of quadrature, you must know what is quadrature. See, what we do here in this process is, instead of evaluating integral of fx dx, we replace fx by some suitable interpolation formula and then integrate that instead of fx over the given limits. When this technique is applied to the function of single variable, that process is named as quadrature. So what we do is, instead of evaluating fx directly, we will be replacing fx by some suitable interpolation formula, and that will be integrating. And that process, when we apply for functions of single variables, that technique is known as quadrature. And the formula thus obtained is named as general formula of quadrature. Okay. So what we do in this process to evaluate fx dx, we said no, like fx will be replaced by some interpolation formula. So actual integral value and the value that is obtained by numerical method, you will have to see the difference between them. That difference is named as error of approximate error. Okay, so here we not only evaluate the numerical methods integration, we will be finding out the errors also. Error means the difference between the exact value of the definite integral and the value obtained by using one of the rules of the numerical integration. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are actually using 4 different numerical methods to evaluate the given definite integral. Remember, you may know fx, you may not know fx, but you will be given a data corresponding to f of x. Okay, so here what rules we are going to use are trapezoidal rule, Simpson's 1/3 rule, Simpson's 3/8 rule, Wedel's rule. Actually, when I was taking the class, I derived general formula of quadrature. Okay, and then from the general formula of quadrature, by giving suitable values to n, we were able to derive trapezoidal rule, Simpson's 1/3 rule, Simpson's 3/8 rule, and Wedel's rule. So let us first come to the trapezoidal rule. See, you will be given a data like this, girls. Some values of x and corresponding values of f of x. F of x is denoted by y, girls. Here, y is depending on the values of x. So, for different values of x, we'll be getting corresponding values of y. Okay. So, the formula we derived using general formula of quadrature is this, and this is called as trapezoidal rule. Okay. You must remember this rule, girls. And here, remember, you will be given a lower limit, b upper limit, and then you will have to take h if it is not mentioned as per n, or sometimes they will give you n, then you will have to find out h. Okay, n here is the number of subintervals. See here, girls, there are altogether x1, x2, x3, xn. There are altogether n arguments here. Okay, when there are n arguments, there will be altogether n minus 1 subintervals. Okay, so what we do here is we will be taking one more argument x naught, girls. Okay, x naught to xn if you take, then you will be getting altogether n plus 1 arguments. When there are n plus 1 arguments, there will be n subintervals. Remember, n here is the number of subintervals. N is number of subintervals. If there are n plus 1 arguments, there will be n subintervals. See, for example, if there are 6 arguments, there will be 5 subintervals. If there are 7 arguments, there will be 6 subintervals. If there are 10 arguments, there will be 9 subintervals. And you have to be very careful in identifying n, girls. And the formula to find out h is b minus a by n, girls, where b is the upper limit, a is the lower limit. Now we need all these things because you will be given a data, girls, and basing on the data, you must identify which formula is applicable, and that is decided on the value of n. And once you know n, you know which formula is applicable here, and afterwards, if you are given a data, you can directly substitute the values and get the required thing. Otherwise, you have to find out the arguments and entries using h value, and h is the interval of differencing. Okay, so what you have to do is, see, if at all you are given a data, you will be knowing the values of fx0, fx1, fx2, etc., and use the relevant formula, substitute and get the answer. Such type of questions will be asked for short answer questions. Whereas when it is an essay, you will not be given a data, girls. You have to find out the data. How will you find out the data? In such case, you will be given f of x, girls, the function. Okay. What you have to do is, lower limit is known to you, upper limit is known to you. A is the lower limit, x0. B is the upper limit, xn. And you have to take n value if it is not given. My advice to you all is, you take n6 minimum. Okay. When you take n6, there will be n plus 1, means 7 arguments. Okay, there will be 7 arguments, and when n is equal to 6. So what you have to do is use this formula h, like b will be known to you, a will be known to you, and you are taking n as 6. So once you know this value h, so what you have to do is, you have to find out the arguments like x0. x0 afterwards, x0 is lower limit, and x1 is x0 plus h, x2 is x1 plus h, like that. You will be finding out first the arguments, and once you know the arguments, by substituting the values in the function, you will be getting the corresponding entries. Okay, this is how you have to find out the data before applying the formula once the data is not known to you, girls. Okay, so what I'm explaining to you once again. See, sometimes he'll give you the data, complete data. You will know what are the arguments, what are the entries. In such case, you apply the relevant formula, substitute, and then get the answer. Sometimes he won't know the data. In such case, function will be known to you, f of x. In such case, what you have to do is, if at all there is n given, you use n. Otherwise, you take n minimum 6. And when you take n6, as you know the upper limit b and lower limit a and n6, using this formula, you will get h value. Once you know h value, you start finding out the arguments. The very first argument is a, which is equal to x naught, and add x naught to h to get x1. Then add x1 to h to get x2. So x1 plus h is x2, x2 plus h is x3, x3 plus h is x4, so on. This way you can find out the arguments, and you start with a and with b. So when n is equal to 6, there will be altogether 7 arguments, girls. And once you know the arguments, you substitute in f of x the arguments, then you will get the corresponding entries like f of x naught, f of x1, etc. This is how you will find out the data, girls. Once you know the data, then you apply the formula and substitute. Remember, this is the formula for trapezoidal rule. Okay, now trapezoidal rule is actually applicable whatever may be the value of n. Means sometimes n is even, sometimes n is odd. You can use trapezoidal rule whether n is even or odd. And actually, this rule, you will not get that much accurate value when compared to the other rules. So the error would be more. What I said, error means it is the difference between the exact value and the value obtained by using numerical method. Exact value means analytical methods of evaluating the integrals. After that evaluation process, you will get the exact value, and then you find the difference between the value that you obtained by using trapezoidal rule, and then you will get the error. Okay, the error would be more if you use trapezoidal rule. Okay, so actually you can see better accuracy value by taking n as large as possible. N means number of subintervals. So now coming to the next rule, that is Simpson's 1/3 rule. Again, I'm having the data like this, girls. See here, I start arguments with x1, x2, x3. See, let us start with x0. So that from x0 to xn, there are altogether n plus 1 arguments. When there are n plus 1 arguments, the number of subintervals would be n in number, girls. Okay. So what I said just now about trapezoidal rule is applicable when n is both even and odd. Whereas Simpson's 1/3 rule is applicable only when n is actually here I mentioned here even only. Okay, n is even means when n is 6, n is 4, n is 8, n is 10. Okay, now again I'm saying here, see, sometimes you'll be given a data, girls. When data is known to you, you can apply the formula and then substitute the values, get the answer. That type of questions can be asked for short answer questions. Now we have to think of doing essays. Essays means data will not be given to us, girls. He will be giving you only the function, upper limit and lower limit. Sometimes he will give you the n value. Sometimes you may have to take n value. When value of n is not given, you better take n6. Okay, when you are using Simpson's rule, if you want to go for higher values, then you can go for 8, n8, then 10. Don't go beyond 10 because you will not be able to finish the problem in 20 minutes. Okay, when n is not given, you better prefer n either 6, 8 or 10. Okay, and once you know n, girls, or once you consider n value, then you find out the value of h. Value of h is obtained by writing b minus a by n, where b is the upper limit and a is the lower limit. These will be given to you. Okay, then after getting h value, you are asked to find out the arguments. The very first argument is the lower limit. We denote it by x0. And then to get x1, the next argument, you must add h to x0. x0 plus h is x1. Then to get x2, you add h to x1. Means x2 is equal to x1 plus h. x3 is equal to x2 plus h. Like this, you start with the lower limit a, which is equal to x0. Keep on adding h to get the next successive arguments, and you will end up with b, that is the upper limit. Okay, now in your hand you have the arguments. Then for every argument you must find out the entry. How? F of x naught means you know what is fx, girls. So you substitute for x naught to get f of x naught, and you'll be knowing what is fx. So you find out f of x1, f of x2, like this. For all the arguments, you please find out the entries. This is the case when the data is not known to you. Data means arguments and entries. So when the data is not given to you, you will be given only f of x, lower limit, upper limit. Choose the value n, find out the value h, and then start finding out the arguments. X0 is lower limit a only, girls. So x1 is x0 plus h, which will be are coming after adding h to a. And then to find x0, to find x2, you add x1 to h. To get x3, you please add h to x2. Okay, x2 plus h is x3. Like this, you find out the arguments, and then you have to find out the corresponding entries by substituting the arguments in the function. Okay, once the data is ready, girls, you use the formula. Remember, you have to be careful in remembering the formulas. Use the formula. See here, h by 3. In case of trapezoidal rule, it is h by 2. 1/3 rule, h by 3. And see how many brackets are there, open and closed. Okay, here for f of x naught, f of xn means first entry, last entry, plus 2 times of, here see f of x2 plus f of x4 plus f of x6 means suffixes with even suffixes, and 4 times of here entries with odd suffixes. This is the formula of Simpson's 1/3 rule. Okay, and now we will see the main prospects of Simpson's 1/3 rule. This 1/3 rule is actually applicable only when n is even. I told you, no, n is number of subintervals, girls. When there are 10 arguments, you can take n as 9. Okay. When the data is known to you, you please see how many arguments are there, and if there are say 8 arguments, n is 7. Okay, if there are 9 arguments, n is 8. If n is not known to you, you yourself have to consider n value, girls. N is equal to 6 means you will be getting altogether n plus 1 arguments, 7 arguments. When there are 7 arguments, you need to find out the 7 entries. So remember, when n is given and if he says use suitable formula, when n is even, you can use either trapezoidal rule or Simpson's 1/3 rule. When suppose n is given as 11, use suitable formula to evaluate if he says, then n being 11, you cannot use Simpson's 1/3 rule. You can use trapezoidal rule. Okay, basing on n, you will be able to identify which formula is applicable. Okay, so after getting n value or after knowing value of n, you have to find out h. The purpose of finding out h is to find out the arguments. Okay, so after getting the arguments, you are required to find out the corresponding entries. Okay, for any formula, the procedure is the same, girls. Okay, if at all you know the set of data values, substitute in the relevant formula, get the answer. If you don't know the data, means arguments and entries, you have to first find out the value of h by fixing n. And then after getting all the arguments, you have to find out the corresponding entries. That is how you will get the data. So whatever may be the formula, this procedure is the same. And once you have data, you apply the formula which is relevant or which is asked for, then substitute, simplify, and get the answer. See, Simpson's rule will give you better value than the trapezoidal rule, girls. The error when compared to trapezoidal rule, it is less. Okay, and you can see all these things by taking n as large as possible. But during the examination, better not to do any experiments. You please take n6 if it is not given. That is enough. Okay, now let us move to the third method, that is Simpson's 3/8 rule. See, again, I'm explaining to you. See, we are evaluating integral fx dx, girls, and we are not using the analytical methods which we did already. Now we are going to employ numerical methods. Already you have seen 2 numerical methods. One is trapezoidal rule, other one is Simpson's 1/3 rule. Now we are going to see Simpson's 3/8 rule. As I explained to you, girls, if you know the data, Immediately you can write the formula and substitute and simplify and get the value. If you don't know the data, you are required to find out the data, girls. And how? Here you will be knowing only the lower limit A, upper limit B, of course the function f of x. Here, once you know lower limit and upper limit, suppose if he says to do it by 3/8 rule, you have to take n as a multiple of 3, girls. This 3/8 rule is applicable only when n is a multiple of 3. So you better take n 6, if not 9 or 12. Don't go beyond this because you will not be able to finish the problem in 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, so when suppose if you take n as 6, 6 being a multiple of 3, you can use this formula to evaluate this definite integral. So I'm taking n 6 means here b will be known to you, a will be known to you, b minus a by n if you put, you will get h value, girls. Okay, after getting h value, you add a to h to get x1. A is x0, the very first argument, and add h to a to get x1, then add h to x1 to get x2. Okay, means x1 plus h will give you x2, x2 plus h will give you x3, so on. Like this you find out arguments till you reach the last argument b, and then you find out the corresponding entries by substituting the values x1 in f of x means f of x1, x2 in f of x means f of x2, x3 in f of x means f of x3. So this is how you can find out the data. Once you know the data, you apply the formula and then substitute, simplify and get the answer. Okay, so sometimes they will ask you to find out the error. In that case, this is the value obtained by using Simpson's 3/8 rule, but you have to evaluate by using the analytical method to get the exact value, and the difference of this value and the value by exact value by ordinary integration method, analytical method, you will get the error. Okay, so this is how you can compare the actual value with the value obtained by employing numerical method. So now remember, Simpson's 3/8 rule is applicable only when n is a multiple of 3. Okay, and this will give you better value than the trapezoidal rule, 1/3 rule. Okay, you can observe these values that this will give you the better value like that only when you take n as large as possible. Let us move on to the last method, girls, Wedel's rule. As I explained to you, here, if you know the data, simply employ the formula. This is the formula for Wedel's rule, and then substitute and get the answer. Suppose, see here, difference of consecutive arguments will be the h value. Once you know the data, h value will be known to you, girls. Okay, then you substitute here h value and corresponding entries are known to you. Substitute the entries and then simplify, get the answer. If you are not given the data, you have to find out the data. How? As I explained earlier, first you find out, put n. Okay, and remember, if n is not given, you take n as 6. Put n is equal to 6. You will be knowing n, b upper limit, lower limit, and difference b minus a by n will give you h. Once you know h, the lower limit a is x0, and then find out x1 by x0 plus h, x2, x1 plus h, x3, x2 plus h. Like this, you can find out the arguments. And once you know the arguments, you substitute the argument in the function to get the entry. F of x1, f of x2, etc. Then substitute in the formula. Remember here, you have to be very, very careful, girls. Here, when n is equal to 6, the formula, see here, it is fx0 plus 5x1 plus fx2 plus 6fx3 plus fx4 plus 5 fx5 plus 1 fx6. Okay, when n is equal to 12, it will be 2 f of x6, and then it ends with 1 f of x12. I explained to you in the class, while deriving this formula, please make sure that you write this formula when n is equal to 6, and when you are taking n is equal to 12, remember 2 f of x6 you must write, girls, and it will end up with 1 f of x12. Okay, so the same procedure of finding out the arguments and entries, and you must use the correct formula, and you must know what is h, girls, by writing the formula b minus a by n, where remember n is the number of subintervals, not number of the arguments. When there are 11 arguments, n is equal to 10. When there are 10 arguments, n is equal to 9. Okay, or when n is equal to 8, there will be 9 arguments. When n is equal to 7, there will be 8 arguments. When n is equal to 6, there will be 6 arguments. Okay, so Weddell's rule is applicable only when n is a multiple of 6, girls. If you don't want to do the problem using n is equal to 6, you have to go to n is equal to 12. Okay, now this rule is the best rule, and it will give you the best value. The error will be very less. Okay, let us now, this is how, if you have any doubts, you can share with me in the Google class. I'm now going to stop the lesson because time is up, and I'm going to give you some problems. 4 problems you have to do for each variety today and upload them as early as possible, girls. And I'm going to send you the assignment to you. So you are all expected to do 1 problem on trapezoidal rule, 1 on Simpson's 1/3 rule, 1 on 3/8 rule, and 1 on Weddell's rule. Okay, do you have any doubts, girls? Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
No,
girls.
ma'am.
Only 7 participants took part in the class, girls, and I'm going to share this again, the lecture. It is recorded in your Google class, and I'm going to give you one assignment. I told you, you must do 1 problem of each variety, means altogether 4 problems. Please do it on a white paper, scan it, and send it in the Google class. Okay, all the best, girls. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.